required annual training from McKinney-Vento. That's the Homeless Act. But it should end at 1 o'clock, so I should be back in time for the board meeting.
When is that? December 5th?
December 5th. And every liaison from every district across the state is required to go to a 1 full day training, plus regular meetings, and this one's mine. And Sam DeLille will also be going with me. She represents the district on a grant that we run for McKinney-Vento with BOCES. Last Friday, I attended the elementary principals meeting, which was good. We talked, and I'm sure Michelle will talk about hers, but we talked with Attorney Mark Reach regarding Dignity for All Students Act, which was very good, very worthwhile. And in the afternoon, I met with BOCES along with representatives from Canton, Potsdam, and Norwood regarding school improvement status and the various things that we have to do. I feel much more comfortable now knowing that along with Norwood, we're way ahead of the game. This morning I shared all my information, all the documents that we've created with both Canton and Potsdam, because I can share those services without cost. So that was a nice way to work together this morning. The awards assembly tomorrow from the first quarter at 8:30 we have kindergarten through 4th, and then in the afternoon at 1:45 grades 5 through 8. And the final thing, the holiday program is on Thursday, December 1st at 6:30. We had put out the call for tickets, and the call for tickets far exceeded what our auditorium can hold. Therefore, we have quietly, and we're not announcing this in a major way, we have moved it to the gym so that we can accommodate the students and their families. And right now, we're getting pretty close to the capacity of the gym as well. We are still requiring tickets again, just so that we have a better control of the situation.
Is that for both times?
It will be for both.
So
And we began practice in there today, worked out some of the bugs, and we will be practicing in there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday when we return from Thanksgiving break. So.
The afternoon show isn't the
Is it?
Sunday.
Oh no, the afternoon show is fine. Yes.
So do I have to get a ticket?
If you want to come for the afternoon, not a problem.
Okay, the afternoon is the one I will come to. Okay.
And I do want to thank the Phys Ed department. They have been absolutely wonderful to work with in terms of helping us get practice times and also accommodating us for the performances as well. And that is all that I have.
We had the Fall Athletic Awards banquet last week, and Lori was able to get Mark Raymond as a guest speaker, and Mark is the St. Lawrence University football coach, and he did a nice little 15-minute chat for the kids, and I think it was well received by our kids. They were a very good audience. Our coaches did a very nice job honoring our students, and I thought that it was very well attended by the parents and the players for most of the teams. Our seniors completed their senior play Friday and Saturday. It really would have been nice to see more audience there than what we had. I'm not sure how we get more community coming in to that kind of an event when it's only a single grade level. You know, it tends to just pull that level of kids, or level of people. The kids were great though. I mean, they did a great job. They worked hard, and all their nerves. If you'd been backstage with them the first night, it was just so cute to watch. And the second night, they were really relaxed. And I thought that the audience received the humor, and the kids really played off from that humor, and I thought they did a nice job. Our basketball practices have started, and cheerleading has started. We've been having some field trips. We've had a field trip to SUNY Canton with our business department. We've had some guidance field trips. The guidance kids, or the guidance staff actually took some students to SUNY Canton on the same day that the business students went there. There were some students who went to SUNY Oswego on a visitation, and when they went to SUNY Oswego, they had combined, I believe it was with Clifton Fine, but it might be Harrisville. I'm not remembering which one. Do you know, Joe, if our kids went?
I know Harrisville.
It's Harrisville.
Harrisville. And then it's set up that Harrisville is going to reciprocate with us in the spring, and they'll take the bus to SUNY Plattsburgh, and we'll be their guest. So I think that's a really nice arrangement that Mrs. Alford has got set up so our kids can get to more schools and not costing us anything extra. We had SUNY Potsdam Student Traveling Theater Group come here Friday. They did a play for the high school kids called Clutter Among Friends, which was very well received by our kids. And our kids were an excellent audience for them, very respectful. And then the same group of actors turned around and did a K-5 show for the elementary on the Country Mouse and the Mystery of the Missing Meal or something like that. It was very cute. It was based on the Country Mouse, City Mouse theme. We've got our holiday concert for grades 7 to 12 coming up December 7th. That's a Wednesday night, I believe. We have a plan. We have a half day in January 27th, that the high school staff is working collectively together to present a half day of workshops. Well, actually about an hour and a half of workshops that will be involving building positive relationships. And then the other hour, we have an initiative at the junior high level right now where they're honoring heroes that the kids are recognizing, people from the community. It could be people that they don't know too, but they're actually trying to teach our kids that heroes are your neighbors also, people in the community. So we wanted to do an assembly on that day also for about a half hour where we bring in heroes and the kids will read their little essay on their hero and just have a nice little reception. It's another way to try to bring the community in with our kids and have interaction. The principal meeting that Ron was just talking about, the high school people met last Thursday, and Tom Burns, who was the superintendent at BOCES, came in and he spoke to us about variances that our district can look into as we're going into these economic times and fiscal problems, of ideas and ways that you can ask for permission to have a variation from what the standard laws are based on need. And so he knew that this is a time where many small schools are going to be looking at making tough decisions and how do you handle it. And that was one of the things that he said that we should do, but we've got to really do it in a timely fashion because there are deadlines to when those kind of things need to be done. And then Mark Wrights talked to us too. Ritz, he's a lawyer down in, from Sac Harbor, I guess he is, out of Syracuse. Talked to us about the Dignity of All Students Act, which was very timely because we had watched the webinar the week before by Utica Insurance Company, and we're working on the code of conduct, and so we've got some important language, and we got it from a little bit different angle this time. It was a different lawyer's interpretation. So in another probably 2 weeks, our code of conduct is pretty much put together with the language we think that should be in there based on what the 2 different webinars or workshops have given us, and we'll be presenting it for you to do your first reading in a few weeks probably. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Who was the leadership dinner for the veterans?
The what?
The leadership dinner.
I asked Amy how that went. She said the dinner went fine, and the kids did a great job. It's our leadership class that put together. They were really disappointed with the number of people that turned out. They were really wishing, hoping that it would be a bigger event, but I think this time, you know, the word gets out there. I think that it should grow if that's a service that the leadership group decides to take on. So.
I have, I don't know, Ron, if you mentioned, if you did, I didn't hear, the other concert is December 14th, I believe, at 7 o'clock. We have 2 concerts in the park. The holiday party for the staff, just reminding the board if any board members haven't sent in their wish to attend. We currently have 61 people, okay? 70 now people attending the holiday party. So, again, any of you in the next day or 2 need to get your reservations. As far as one of the things that came out in the newspaper last week was the article about transportation, sharing of services. And the only thing I wanted to make sure that we say here and reiterate is that transportation aid is state aidable at the same amount of rate and aid that we receive for anything else. And just as if we were to do shared services in any other area, it is all state aid. So just want to make sure people realize that, because that would obviously make a tremendous difference. And without state aid, we could never afford to do any contracting services if we were to lose that automatically off the board. So I did turn out a big to all the board members, a sheet showing that Carol had provided us. So just making sure that's corrected. We did get contacted by a private donor who would like to remain anonymous. He's putting $250,000 into music and arts for students and chose our school as one of the districts he would like to participate with. That would basically, and Michelle has more of the details of it, after looking into it and checking into it, we would be cross-contracting with Wishy Go-Sees. And
With who?
it's the Warrenburg, Essex, Washington.
Oh,
they're all
okay.
Wishy.
Okay.
And so it would be a cross-contract. At this point, they're not working with our local Go-Sees to do the contracting. We already have one arts and education grant, but this one, it would be to no expense and up to how many concerts this year for the students?
What it is a 3-day residency where they would send their people here, and there would be, he talked about it being a 9-block grid, a 3x3 grid, and that Clifton Fine is sharing with us this opportunity. Because we have 600 kids, we would have 2 days worth of stuff. Clifton Fine has 300 kids, so they have 1 day. So if we combine it together, we have 3 days. And out of those 3 days, there's 2 blocks in the morning every day, and that's a concert in each of those blocks, so that would be 6 concerts. And then in the top, or the afternoon, there's 3 more days that would be interactive workshops. In each workshop, 2 of the people that did the concert in the morning go one way and 2 go the other way. So it's, that's the opportunities that we have through that. And I've got to talk with the music people tomorrow because I want them to have some input into what we're doing. We want to make sure we cover all the grade levels, K to 12, and I've got to talk with the Clifton Fine people about what is their interest in trying to mesh our thoughts together. But the John that I talked to today said that they would go to Clifton Fine for the interactive workshops over there instead of having to make the kids be here for everything.
They also said if they choose to bus some of their students here, or we bus some there, they pick up all the busing too. So
That's
it's
not what
totally,
John said to me when he was on the phone, so that was a
Okay.
different person.
but we'll have to check all the details. And that's why when someone calls you and offers this, you do wonder about it. It's a program that no other schools currently in St. Lawrence County are participating in. He hopes to spread through 63 different schools by next year. So,
And you had said that to me, and I just, when you said that, you told me the superintendent, just talked to the superintendent. I couldn't find she was going to take care of the lesson, but that's not really our story.
right.
That's great.
Right, so it was kind of nice. You know, when you said you can't get anything for free, well, I still kept saying, I don't know, but
Yeah.
it seems like a great opportunity. One of the things I just got, and I did not copy, I don't know if any of the board members would like, there's a workshop being put on by NISBA as well as the BOCES Educational Consortium. It's going to be on Friday, December 16th. It's a full-day training, 10 to 4. Basically what it's dealing with is high-needs school district and the challenges of diminishing resources, decreasing expectations, and how some of the high-poverty districts are going to make it through these times. December 16th, 10 to 4. It is in Syracuse. As I said, the registration is free because it is put on by NISBA and BOCES. I don't know if there's any board members that would like to know a little bit more about it, that would like to go. I probably will be attending that day and see what we get from it.
I think I would like to probably know. Hopefully the weather will cooperate.
That's always one of the bad ways, but it's probably one of the few things that's offered by NISBA that's a newer topic that applies to the times now. So, okay. The others, okay, we did that. I did get a request from, Clifton Fine from their board to our board, and what they're asking is to have a joint meeting with the two boards of education to look at the opportunities of sharing and or merging over years of progress, I should say, not just obviously 1 year. Sorry, Joe, I forgot to tell you. Their board has asked that our board were to meet with them. They're talking about everything from sports to jobs, to schools, to eventually full merging.
That's a question.
Does our board want to meet with them, is the question. And if so, would they like to meet on a Saturday? We have some joint, they've also offered for their board to come over here to one of our meetings. I did let them know that it would be an open meeting. Everybody's available and able to attend. They have meetings already November 21st, December 19th, January 9th. So they could come if we wanted them to at the end of like December 5th meeting. What I asked her to do is to go back to her board and write a list of things, questions, answers, things they're looking at, so everybody doesn't get into a room and say, here we are. They don't have specifics. What that is, one of the districts I've been speaking to about sharing cafeteria services. I looked at the 3 local services when their people are retiring, and to see if we can kind of use Kathy as a shared manager with local districts.
Okay.
So they didn't come out, other than they would like to have the 2 boards get together. It is a district that we, has talked about, they don't have JV for a lot of their sports. They are one of the districts interested in data merging. They're one of the smaller districts currently. So I said if our board was interested, then I would ask you folks as well to write up kind of a proposal agenda of what you might like to talk about, and then hand it to each board to look at it. But is that of interest to people? What do you think?
I think we should be remiss if we didn't at least sit down and talk to somebody about it. I mean, you're not going to know what you're going to miss out on unless you go to the meeting and say, we're not committing to anything.
It's so hard to even approach this kind of thing that someone's actually volunteering to come and talk about it is a good thing.
Well, again, it doesn't hurt to listen,
Right.
you know.
So would you like to do it on a Saturday? Would you like to do it in conjunction with one of our meetings? Because they only meet once a month.
I think it's Saturday.
I prefer a Saturday too. Her meetings are long enough as it is without adding,
And they're willing to meet on a Saturday?
It was their request, a Saturday actually instead of a board meeting. But they said they would come to a board meeting, but they know that those can drag on. And they all wanted to have the purpose in mind of sharing services and merging. Oh, yes, it
Right.
still would have to be, but
Yes.
I meant is not tacking it on
Right.
repetition.
I think Saturday's a better deal.
Yeah.
You're there for one purpose and you can
Right.
ask questions and.
Yeah. I just happen to have. Of course, I don't know if it goes back to. I don't know if people want to try to do it in December. Go to January, and December, I know that's usually hectic, busy for people, but.
I would suggest January.
Yes. Let's do it.
I suggest January.
Yeah, probably would be better.
Avoid the holidays.
Yeah. Or Saturday before Christmas, I don't think so.
So do you want me to give them the date of the 7th? Do you want to pick 2 dates, that optionals?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just do the 7th and the 14th at this point?
Yeah.
First 2 Saturdays, okay. What then, I guess, if we want, the board should probably get together and discuss, even maybe later tonight, come up with some ideas or things that you might want to talk about, but also we'd have time at the next meeting to do that. One of the things I wanted to talk about before it happens in our district, BMI, body mass index. Our nurse every year is required by the state to heights, weights, and then do BMIs on all students. After doing that, she then has to send letters home that she does not write. They come prescribed on our school stationery written by the state that basically says if your child has a good BMI or exceeds, and uses words that obviously aren't pleasant because nobody wants to know that their child is overweight and doesn't fit into the general impression of what a child should weigh. So we're trying to come up with a way to do this positively, which there really isn't, because parents do take offense. But we did talk about putting it, make a letter basically that says from state education to Edwards Knox, so that they realize it's not written by Missy.
Right.
And like I said, there's no nice way to send those out, but I guess if we could get parents to know in advance they're coming, that it's a mandated state law.
Right.
Every school does it, but we know ours are due in January, so by March we'll be sending those letters out.
Do we tag anything on the letter, anything from us, kind of explaining what this is going to be?
Missy put on a little thing that explains it, but again, she got a lot of very angry phone calls. I got a couple phone calls, you know, I mean, with parents saying it's none of your business. And I do understand where it comes from.
Right.
You know, I mean, people know what's what.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily need that pointed out, but again, we're mandated to send it out.
What's the purpose of that?
To basically to educate parents.
Okay.
Is it, the state has to?
This has only been in the last 3 or 4 years. Oh, even 2. Oh, well, it's a waste of hours and hours of work on Missy and bringing other people in to help her do it for every kid in school.
Again, it goes back to what I was saying about another one of those mandates that we get handed to,
Time.
and time and money.
Right.
Money.
For that,
It's like trying to balance your checkbook, but everybody can spend money. You know.
The last thing I have is we are working with Terry Remington, one of his classes. They're going to build a Facebook page to discuss budget information and questions from the district. So anytime we get new information, for example, when we just got this thing on the tax cap, we would put that out there. Not that everybody could read and understand this, because even those of us who should be able to had some difficulties. But his students will be building that and creating it. Questions obviously will be answered by the adults in the district, but that is something that we're looking forward to working together with. So, finally, that's all I have for